Hi boys and girls, Pachi and Machi, Auntie and Uncle, welcome back to my channel. My name is CK and my channel is Psychology. This video I am going to do a bio series. Now I have not done a bio series in a while now. Finally my research is done and here we go, my third Malaysian bio series. Now recently, our Michelle Yeoh won Best Actress in the Academy Award. But did you know that way before Michelle, there was even a bigger giant in the entertainment industry here in Malaysia? He has acted in 66 films, directed in 35 of them, composed more than 300 songs, and most songs of his would go on to become classics. He has not only conquered every medium of the moving picture making, he was the spectrum himself. His films and song had grossed millions and swept major Asian entertainment awards, laced with infinite charm, comedic genius, and powerful storytelling talent. He is Malaysia's most endearing and revered entertainer. This is the legendary life of Malaysian entertainment giant Mr. P. Ramlee. Born Teuku Zakaria Nyak Puteh on 22nd March 1929, P. Ramlee was born out of poverty along Counter Hall Road at an Achinese community in Penang. His father, Teuku Nyak Puteh, was a sailor from Aceh, Indonesia, and his mother, Cik Mah binti Hussein, was from Butterworth in Seberang Perai. The letter P stands for Puteh, his father's name. He started using the name P. Ramlee at a singing competition at the age of 17, in which he, of course, won. He believed that this was a good luck charm, so he kept the rest of his life the letter P. P. Ramlee was educated in the historical Penang Free School. Growing up, he and his friend would go on adventures together around Penang Island, roaming across the island with his bicycle. Penang was once the biggest port city in Southeast Asia at the time. Penang was full of very colorful locals and visitors coming and going. A cheeky and daredevil teen, he was always up to mischief with his friend. These childhood adventures and backdrops would go on to inspire many of his films later on. Little did he know, a simple twist of fate would change his life forever. World War II would unleash unprecedented social and political upheaval to Penang. From 9th until 18 December 1941, Japanese warplane indiscriminately strafed and bombed Georgetown. Penang fell to the Imperial Japanese Army on 19 December 1941. P. Ramlee was only 14 at the time of the occupation. The Japanese was looking for young recruits to join their army. They have left free movie tickets at the post office around town to attract youngsters. P. Ramlee and his friend got hold of those tickets, and it was the first time he saw motion picture. Although the movie was Japanese propaganda films, P. Ramlee was mesmerized by the medium. Little do they know, at the end of the movie, they were forced into army trucks and driven to recruit center and were instantly made new recruits in a Japanese naval college. This turned out to be a blessing in disguise, as the Japanese were committing horrible war crimes all over the peninsula and Penang. Inside this college, they were kind to P. Ramlee and his friends. It was this stint that taught P. Ramlee fluent Japanese, play the violin, and influence his later very disciplined work ethics. In the college, P. Ramlee had grown very attached to his recruiters. When the Japanese surrendered, P. Ramlee and his friend broke into the warehouse and stole sword and hid it from the Japanese to avoid suicide as they surrendered. 3 years later, after the war, the big break for Ramlee came when he was spotted by director B.S. Rajhans from Shaw Studio while performing in an agricultural show in Penang. The director invited Ramlee to audition in Singapore. He was phenomenally successful at Shaw Brothers Jalan Ampas Studios in Singapore. At age 19, he was given a screen debut in the film Cinta as a villain. The director L. Krishan Wood gave him his first leading role in the film Bhakti. The film was an adaptation of Les Miserables. He was chosen because he could sing, according to the famous director. The film premiered on 1st April 1950. Critics praised Ramlee for his performance. Director Krishan was so pleased that he would cast him as a male lead for another of his 3 films in the same year. Ramlee would won his first major award from Radio Malaya as Best Male Singer with his song Aziza. The song would go on to top the charts and stay there for 4 weeks. In 1955, 26-year-old P. Ramlee made his directorial debut for the film Benare Beca or Trishaw Peddler, in which he also acted. The film was to become one of the most memorable films in Malay cinema history. The film catapulted P. Ramlee into the ranks of an A-class director. The film swept major entertainment awards, also featured the song he wrote, Aziza. In 1956, at age 27, he would play the title role in the historical film Hang Tuah and wrote the music. The film was another major success and won Best Musical Score at the Asia Pacific Film Festival. Up to this time, Ramlee had to keep to the Hindustani element into his film to enable him to sell movie tickets. But in his next film, Samara Padi, he would rock this status quo. For this film, Ramlee would totally devoid it of any trace of Indian influences. The film's success was a milestone for Malay film. Even the top executive at Shaw Studios was stunned that the Ramlee would be the first to beat the Hindustan at the box office. If you think he has peaked, well, there's more to come. He would go on to direct Panca Delima in 1957. The story goes at the premiere of the film, attended by Indian directors Run Run Shaw. Now, Run Run Shaw is a very powerful figure in the entertainment history. He is the founder of the Shaw Brothers, who was sitting in the front row, suddenly stopped the show midway and ordered the light to be turned back on. Shaw then turned to all the directors and screamed at them, shouting, "You all have loads of experience but would not even dare to touch this script." Did not have the guts as young P. Ramlee did. With his success, Ramlee would be given all resources from the Shaw. All the resources now given to him, he is about to make a cinematic masterpiece. In 1957, P. Ramlee stepped into a new territory of writing and acting in his first comedic film, Bujang Lapok, was about 3 bubbling but good-hearted bachelors who were on the lookout for love. This is my personal favorite P. Ramlee film. I love everything about this film: the comedic pace, the captivating storyline, the memorable character. There really is no Malay film like it ever, and may I dare say, ever since. The film was an astounding success at the box office. It was so popular that he made 2 more sequels. Riding on the film's success, Ramlee wrote and acted on Alibaba and the 40 Thieves based on the trilogy's character. These films was so endearing that in 2007, an animation film was made called Budak Lapok. The film has achieved cult status with Malaysian audiences, the first film to do so. Incredibly, as most of the lines in the film was spontaneous improvisation. Until today, Bujang Lapok still enjoy outstanding box office success. With hits after hits after hits, Ramlee single-handedly ushered in the golden age of Malay cinema, and from 1958 to 1964, he swept every major films award. As he became increasingly engulfed in his art, his personal life began to suffer. Sadly, his art would eclipse his own marriages. P. Ramlee married 3 times. First wife was Junaida, daughter of Ramlee's co-star, which she had Ramlee's only biological son. His second wife, Norizan, was from the royal family of Perak, which was his muse during the height of his career. Norizan, at the end of her marriage with P. Ramlee, felt unloved as Ramlee would spend most of his time in the studios. The Shah had ordered a movie to be made in every 4 months, with the tightest schedule you can imagine. And Ramlee having to juggle multiple roles was near impossible to have a normal family life. His final marriage, and the woman that would remain until his death, was Saloma. They had previously courted, and after 8 years of hiatus in Australia, Saloma was back in Kuala Lumpur. She again made an impression on the newly bachelor Ramlee. Ramlee's marriage to Saloma took everyone by surprise. He told the press that they were soulmates. For Saloma, living with an eccentric genius was not easy. She cited Ramlee would even sometimes disappear into the bathroom for hours composing songs, writing scripts, which made her very, very worried. However, she did got on famously with Ramlee and appeared in several of his films. Soon, they were the power couple in the Malay entertainment world. So in America, you guys have the American songbook. Well, here in Malaysia, P. Ramlee practically wrote the Malay songbook. He had composed more than 390 songs in his lifetime. His music is recognized all around the world, and may I say, by all Malaysians of many generations. Like my favorite song of P. Ramlee, Engkau Laksana Bulan. Well, I'll spare you about my talent. His talent was so immense that in 1963, at the 10th Asian Film Festival, they had to give him a special award, Most Versatile Artist. This was the highest recognition yet bestowed on P. Ramlee. Remember that P. Ramlee had virtually no professional education on music. His songs are still covered by artists today. In 1990, Sheila Majid released her 4th album, Legenda, covering some of the most famous P. Ramlee songs, introducing a whole new generation to these classics. Things appear to have taken a turn for the worse during the confusion of the Malaysia-Singapore separation of 1963, when Lee Kuan Yew, the Prime Minister of Singapore at the time, had trouble reining a tight leash on trade unions. Ramlee appears to have been an inadvertent victims of the union's unreasonable demand, leading Shaw Brothers to call it a day at Jalan Ampas when they couldn't keep up with the union's demand for higher pay. P. Ramlee was poached and enticed to return to Malaysia, which he did in 1964. All promises in Malaysia were unfortunately not kept by his new masters. Merdeka Studio was poorly equipped, and its rookie staffing meant the legend had to multitask, which ended up eventually in him churning out shoddy movies. All 18 movies he directed in Malaysia flopped. Ramlee lost his glitter, his money, his fame. Things slowly turned worse as he had to sit in canteen at Angkasa Puri while Saloma had her own show in RTM, Radio and Television Malaysia. He could not secure any government aid, grants, or even private financial initiative despite being the icon for Malay music and culture. Even his banknotes was rejected. The sudden death of P. Ramlee, the greatest star of the Malay entertainment world at the age of 44, came to a complete shock to all Malaysians. So on the 29th of May 1973, in the burial grounds of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysian and the world say goodbye to P. Ramlee for the last time. What is even sadder is that at the time of his death, when it came out that neither P. Ramlee or any of the song that he wrote owned the rights for his creative work. However, brand P. Ramlee is still very much alive today. New generations of fans are still discovering his work today and through Instagram and TikTok. My story of P. Ramlee ends today, but his struggle for artists and performers are still very real today here in Malaysia. I think P. Ramlee would have been even more appalled at the policy taken by the Education Ministry today, which still never put arts and music as an important part of the school curriculum. Moreover, with the strict censorship still imposed on performers in Malaysia, it seems like the cultural golden age of Malaysia that was ushered in by P. Ramlee may never return. I think this is up to us to pledge our support for local films, theaters, and musical performance. Go and find where your local theaters are and check out what's on their program. When there is demand, there is always a supply. This year will mark exactly 40 years since the passing of Mr. P. Ramlee. I would sum up in a Shakespeare quote, the life of P. Ramlee. His life was gentle and the elements so mixed in him that nature might stand up to say to all the world, this was a man. Thank you for watching this video of a bio series of Malaysia featuring P. Ramlee. I hope to bring you more stories of famous and important Malaysian in my bio series video. I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye!